What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Y'all know what time it is. It's your boy, Kizzie in the building. I can't wait to talk. And guess what? We gonna talk about it. Man, it's such a glorious day. Another opportunity to come before you guys. Man, I'm truly excited. You know, every time I get the opportunity to speak with you guys and just have a little time with you all, I'm so blessed and honored. You know, I'm definitely excited about today's episode. Definitely got a special guest that's going to chime in and that's going to really bless the airwaves. And I truly believe that God is going to do a work. You know, a lot of times we try things, but that, you know, we can only do them according to, you know, God's will. You know, we think it's our will, but it's always God's will. So I pray that, you know, y'all will truly receive, you know, what's coming to y'all. So before I introduce her, I'm gonna just, you know, give her. I'm gonna read her bio. You know, talk about who this lady is. She was born in Houston, Texas, in the community of Acres Home. You know, this is interesting because I just did another interview with somebody from the Fofo. You know, but we ain't gonna go into all of that. But she was the seventh out of 9 children. Her parents was Walter Lee Anderson, and mother was Mary Etta Anderson. She has 2 children. She has a grandchild. She studying to become a teacher and is on the staff of the Klein Independent School District. Let me see. She's a high school graduate of George Washington Carver. Okay. She attended Sam Houston State University, and on a freshman scholarship, she later transferred to University of Houston, where she received her BBA, an accounting major. Okay. She worked as an accountant for Shell Oil 14 years, and let me see. She later worked in the field of education and served as a substitute teacher, tutor, co-teacher, GED teacher, and private teacher for several school districts. She has a foundation that she started called RARA, and she received. She recently served as a tutor for the Klein Independent School District. And see, also she received her master's in education from the Concordia University, majoring in curriculum and instruction. Okay, she is currently serving as an educational director. But she got some stats. She got some recommend. I mean, hey, she got it all. Whatever's left, don't worry, she coming for it. But yeah, serving as the educational director under the leadership of Apostle Elaine Benson at the First Fruit Christian Center. She also serves as the executive director of the RARA Foundation. It's a nonprofit that provides supplemental educational services for youth ages 3 to 3.5 to adults. Okay. She served on the board of the Gulf Coast Community Service Agency as a representative for the underserved sector, which included Acres Home. She loves helping others. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I want y'all to put y'all hands together for my guest, Miss Irma Living. Yeah. How you doing?
Hi.
You doing all right today?
Yes, doing well. Thank you. Yes,
That
just
is
excited
awesome.
about being here.
Yeah. That is awesome. Awesome. Well, we definitely are excited to have you here. You know, it's always an honor to get someone, you know, to be able to interview anybody, but you know, a person with your background and the information that you have, it's like, yeah, you got a list of some stuff. So, you know, if anybody got something to say, I'm like, oh no, she got the credentials to back it up. So, you know, we definitely want to kind of get into this. I did a series a few months ago called Protect Your Moment. And I wanted to do, you know, like a series of different moments that we protect, you know, protecting our families or protecting our marriage or whatever. And I wanted to do something about protecting our children. But, you know, as I was telling you about that, you know, you was telling me how God has spoke to you about filling in the gap fill in the gap. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, wow. I said, so the title of this episode is Fill in the Gap. Yeah, y'all see it. Fill in the gap with Irma Living. I thought about that, and it's when God does a thing, He does a thing,
He
and
does. It's
when
true.
He speaks, He speaks. And so when you fill in the gap, you got to think about it. When God created the heavens and the earth, He had already had a plan of how He wanted it to be.
Right.
How He
Right.
wanted mankind to operate. You
Yes.
know, without no filter, without not even clothing. He wanted us to be just as pure and just carefree as possible.
Yes.
But as those who have read the Word and read Genesis know, sin crept in and really demolished all of that. And because of
Right.
that,
Right.
separation happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, separation from God happened between God and mankind. So
Yes.
God was like, okay, my original plan
Mm-hmm.
didn't go,
Mm-hmm.
or my original idea didn't go. Oh, but I got someone to fill in the gap. I got
Yes.
someone that's gonna come in and that's gonna
Mm-hmm.
gonna bridge that separation back to where I
Right.
originally wanted to be in the beginning.
Exactly.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, so
Mm-hmm.
so even though Adam may have fallen, even though
Yes.
Adam may have caused a separation and a break in the chain,
Mm-hmm.
God sent His only Son.
Yeah.
He sent His only Son, who is Jesus, to fill in the
Right.
gap. He sent His
Yes.
only Son, who is Jesus, to come in and say, "Oh no, we're gonna get this thing back together." Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Mm-hmm.
got a purpose and a plan for
Yes.
my people.
Mm-hmm.
That we all have assignments in this earth. We all have
Yes.
a reason to be here. So when you
That's right.
said that, I was just like, and I mean, as soon as you said it, I automatically knew. Oh, that's the name. That's gonna be the episode right there. Fill in the gap.
Yeah. Feeling
So
the gap. Mm-hmm.
as I was preparing for this interview, God just really
Mm-hmm.
gave me that. And of course, on my channel, I deal with weight in a lot of different areas, and I deal with, and I definitely, I talk about my Savior and my Father, because that's who I am.
Right.
It's in my DNA to do so.
Yes.
So
That's
so
right.
when God was showing me that, I'll say, oh yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
that right there, So, but I want to
Yeah.
talk about the children.
Yeah.
This is the month of June,
Mm-hmm.
and on my platform, I've really been, celebrating men, and I've
Yes.
been getting in men's business, letting them know,
Yes.
hey, man, we got to do better.
Yeah.
Um, and I actually just did a video. Actually, it came out the day that we doing this interview. It came out
Mm-hmm.
about which one? Papa was a Rolling Stone, and just
Okay.
talking about the importance of men being in their children's lives, and
Right.
and and how men get such a bad rap because of
Yeah.
they're not really being there like they should. But yet,
Yes.
anytime I go after a certain demographic or group,
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
men, like
Mm-hmm.
I don't exclude the women, because it's like women
Right.
have a role too. And
That's right.
so when we talk about our children, like I said, going back to how I opened up about how God had a plan,
Right.
and the plan was for Adam and Eve to be fruitful and multiply
Right.
and fill the earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so that meant they was gonna be husband and wife doing their thing,
Right.
tilling the ground or whatever, and they were gonna have kids, and the children, and they was gonna populate the earth.
Right.
Well, because sin crept in,
Mm-hmm.
we still have, men and women getting married and populating the earth.
Yeah.
But we got a lot of population that's going on where
Mm-hmm.
there's not a marriage. It's not coming up under the umbrella of marriage. And
Right.
so the problem with that is our children are being lost in that.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
children are being kind of cast away by the wayside. And see,
Right.
I can
Right.
speak on that because I come from that. I come from a
Mm-hmm.
single parent household. So,
Okay.
a lot of times, uh, there's just a it's a disconnect. It's a
Mm-hmm.
disconnect because that child is growing up with one parent in the household, or
Right.
or
Right.
or some children don't even have parents. They get caught up
That's
in
right.
the system,
Mm-hmm.
where they're going from household to household and all this
Yes.
and that. And
Yes.
so instead of them, yeah, and the reason I wanted you to come on, because you're an educator, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you educate, the biggest of your children, or
Mm-hmm.
children. And so I said that's important because our children are our future.
That's right.
But if our children are caught up in
Mm-hmm.
trying to just survive day
Yes.
to day, trying to figure out what I'm gonna eat, what I'm gonna drink, like
Mm-hmm.
that's not a
Mm-hmm.
child's that's not what children are supposed to do.
Exactly.
That shouldn't be
Yes.
their worry.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be their worry, where they gonna eat, where they gonna sleep,
That's right.
how they gonna do this, how they gonna do that.
Yes.
That's the
Yes.
parent's job. But
Mm-hmm.
because the foundation of the family has been so broken,
Mm-hmm.
that puts
Mm-hmm.
that pressure on our children.
Exactly.
Therefore, children are not focused on their education
Mm-hmm.
and trying to learn and grow and get better.
Right.
So I wanted to bring you in, and you know I want you to explain why education is so important.
Mm-hmm. Well, over the years, I think that one reason why education is important is because people are in this world. We're in a system where you have to know things in order to get a job. You have to know things in order to even live with one another. You got to know. You got to understand how to communicate with people.
Right.
That takes education, and it takes education to know, not only how to earn the living, but how do I fill out an application, or what things should I be thinking in terms of after I actually earn the money? How do I use it? All of that takes education. So the more you know, the more you're able to take advantage of things that have already been placed in the earth for us to take advantage of. So it's good to have the education in order to know how to utilize those things that are already present. And not only does education help you to take advantage of what's present, it helps you to utilize that part of us that is creative. Education will help you with that. So those things that aren't even where we can see them, physically, but as God gives us that understanding of what to do, and we are educated to know how to use some things, we can put those things and create new things. So it's what we need, in order to improve or to better or to survive. A lot of times, education is what's needed.
Wow. I really like that, especially when you talked about how, it pulls out of us what's in us,
Yes.
that creativity,
Mm-hmm.
those types of things. And especially, the world that we're living in now, there's so much access to so many different things, and,
Yes.
technology, and, the world is steady advancing, not all in a good way, but, nevertheless, that is the how things are moving. It's a whole lot
Mm-hmm.
different than 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Right.
So, and I even look back when I was in school, it's like it's night and day, the
Yes.
difference in education and how things are. So,
Mm-hmm.
when you talk about that, it's important. um why is it why do you think that children are, I guess, I'm trying to see how I can put this. What has been your, as you have, like, worked with children, what
Mm-hmm.
have you come across that you can share, where how why children are learning different, or not getting it? What have you come across in your eyes, or your estimation, why kids aren't really able to keep up with what's going on in school?
Some of it is just as you described when you brought in the fact that there's the food that needs to be, they're lacking food, or it could be that they're worrying about, even though they shouldn't have to, but children worry about, where am I going to stay? Some of them are foster children that I work with, and they don't know where they're going to be next time. They're here one while and then they're somewhere else another while. So it's all of those factors that are in addition to learning that keeps them from learning. So those things that are or like mother and father not getting along, the things that are happening with those that are caring for them. Maybe someone has passed away that they've become attached to,
Yeah.
or even the fact that there's these things with the teachers that are going on right now. So a teacher might be there for a while and then you don't see her the next week or so. So the children are feeling that instability. Like, how do
Mm.
I keep learning if I don't even know if the teacher I got today is going to be with me tomorrow? So those things play a factor in children's learning. And of course, there's always the physical things, the students that have dyslexia or a learning disability. Those things play a factor, and even that which comes in when children learn what they learned during the school year and then they break for the summer. They call that learning regression, where that they learn they don't keep. So a lot of that goes into not being able to or not increasing in education or increasing with their learning. So it's a lot of factors that play in with children when it comes to learning that we as adults can make a difference. In fact, I read an article. It was through one of my students that I was helping to tutor, and the article actually compared the children's grades. Like when you're in when you're pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, mom and dad they're so excited about you moving on to kindergarten, or even as far as sixth grade, they'll stick with you. You'll see them at the graduation. They'll, press you on, and they're so excited. They're right in there with them. But then when they get in the upper grades, like 7, 8, 9 through 12, you find them less involved in those children's education. And with that, the study showed was the grades were decreasing as compared to how they were increasing when they were in elementary school. But the factor that they said was the difference, that was what was making the difference, is that they also found like the parents were less involved in those children's education. They were less involved in sitting around the dinner table and seeing, well, what happened today at school, or how did your day go, or what is it that you're studying, and how are you doing in class? So the less involved the parents were, the grades were decreasing. The more involved the parents were at an elementary, junior high, the first part of junior high, the children's grades, they stayed up. So they said that that's a major factor for our children to remain involved, even though they're going to high school. Doesn't mean they don't need your involvement. That doesn't mean, okay, now I can take my hands off.
Yeah.
That only means that I need to approach them in a different manner because they're not little, like they were, but they're still not adults. They still need that involvement. And so that's a factor as well, is staying involved with them and making them know that you're right there with them, just as you were when they were coming up and you were pressing and pushing and encouraging them at the elementary grade levels.
Wow, that's some good information right there. That's a real good article, because basically what it's saying is, parents, you have to continue to keep, the Bible says, train up a child in the way that they should go, so when they are old they won't depart from it. Well,
Mhm.
it say train up a child in the way they should go. They are children until they leave your house, and they will
Yes,
always
that's
be
right.
your children. It don't matter,
Hmm.
how old they get. I hear some
Yes.
grown people like, my dad is, he 50, he's 60, he still think I'm his baby, because
Yeah.
you are, like,
Hmm.
at that you will always be, your children will always be your baby. So
Yes.
that don't mean you have to baby them. That just mean that you should be attentive in, or I would say we should be
Yeah.
attentive in their studies, and what they got going on in school.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
what made you get, because looking at your bio, you was an accountant, and that was dealing with money. It
Hmm.
had nothing to do with no children. That was dealing with some, you know what I'm saying? You know. So
Mhm,
so
mhm.
what made you start wanting to, educate or deal with trying to help, children and adolescents and adults, learn and grow?
Well, to tell you the truth, when I was, I think I was a sophomore, I had transferred from Sam Houston to University of Houston, and I was taking classes, and I had taken this PE class that was for education majors.
Okay.
And the teacher, it wasn't just a, regular PE class. You had to write things out. So there were different things that would come into play with it. And as he would read my papers, what he would say was, I think you need to change your major. And
Hmm.
I would go like, nah, I've already started taking these accounting courses, so I'm going to stick with it, which I did. But
Yeah.
he was right, because if you will, if you will take note of a child, by the time they're in fifth grade, by the time they're around 10 years old, they have already touched on whatever it is in them to do. And
Okay.
I can remember when he was telling me that, I thought back, the Lord was bringing back to my mind that I loved playing school. I don't care whatever else they were doing. My sisters and brothers would play all these different things, but I wanted to play school. I loved the books, and I still do. I wanted to read. I wanted to read. I just would get lost in the reading. So the education, I can remember once the teacher had walked out of the classroom. I was in fifth grade. I remember this, and I had the whole class coming along with me with what was written on the board. And then I went to the bulletin board, and they were going over that. And it was just like I was the teacher, and I was in fifth grade, but I can remember it because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I liked math, and that's how I wound up going ahead for accounting. And what happened is that some years after I went into the field of accounting, and I worked contract at first with Shell for about 7 years. And then the last years that I worked as permanent. And then I went back another year and worked contract.
Okay.
And so what God was doing is, while I was in the field of accounting, I would still go. And when there were times, I would go and substitute teach. So
Okay.
I was still working. He was prompting me to go on in the area he really wanted me to be in, which was education. So I did eventually. I did eventually say, okay, now I'm not going to keep trying to go back and forth. I'm just going to stick with education, because I know that's what I really want. And that's what
Yeah.
I ended up doing. Yeah, that's what he wanted for me. But it was me who said, nah, you know what? I've already taken these courses. I'm going to stick with it. And it was the money too. I have to admit that I was thinking, okay, look at all this, the money was so much better. But I tell you,
Yeah.
the real factor of what was in me to do, and the fact that I love education. I love teaching. I love tutoring. I love it all. So you got to do what's ever in you that you would do if you didn't earn any money for it. Whatever it is that you would do, that you would love to do, whether you
Yeah.
got paid or not, that's what you're meant to do, and
You
that's
know,
what I wanted to do.
I'm glad you said that because, we had talked behind the scenes and talked about how educators don't get paid
Mm,
like any other field. And,
yes,
it's like you would think that if the person that's teaching the accountant or teaching the engineer or teaching
yes,
the whoever,
right,
that's gonna go off and make 6 7 figures, you
yes,
would think that the one that's doing the teaching would be
yes,
the one that would get the dividends, that would get the
right.
the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yet, there it's just like, okay, well, we'll give you something, or
Hmm.
you can have the sum off, or
Right.
it's just like, we'll give you enough, but we're not
Yeah.
gonna really give you. So talk to the educators and just, I guess, encourage them, because I know there's in a lot of different cities and
Hmm.
districts, there's a fight, trying to get more money, trying to get more, you know And I believe you just really kind of said it, understanding that, when you have a passion for something, you
Yeah.
do it anyways. Because at the end
Right.
of the day, at the end of the day, you got to know
Yes.
who your source is,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to know
Mm-hmm.
what your resources are. When you
Right.
understand who the source is, it don't matter.
That's
You
right.
doing it unto God, that
There
type of
you
deal. But
go.
but
There
but
it is.
I just want you to be able to just to really just or at least why do you think that, let's start there. Why do you think that the educators don't get the money that they probably should get, especially because of the impact that they have on the world?
I think one of the things is the way society has set it up. Whenever the system is in place, like they'll say you are going to get this much if you are going to school or do this. So it's in place. And so when something is in place for as long as that's been in place, it's hard to make it so that eyes can be open where they can understand it shouldn't be that way. It should be according to what is the contribution, what is it that once that investment is made through that teacher, that it keeps reinvesting. It's not like it's a one-time thing.
Yeah,
That investment the teacher makes keeps repeating itself. So that person, not only that engineer that goes out, he's going to make an impact on somebody else because that teacher poured in and helped him, motivated him, and he went to school to become whatever he went to become. And then he's going to in turn impact someone else. So that's an ever giving thing when a teacher pours and teaches. So I think that if it was that society was looking at it in that manner, they probably would increase the pay for a teacher. But when you got it that system is in place to the point that other people can make monies off of whatever is in the system, and the teachers at the bottom of the level with the monies that is being made, then you can't. It's hard to make it whether they will change their minds or see it in a different light. So I think that's why, and because the teacher, usually the teachers that are in there, not all of them, but a lot of teachers are in it because they love it. And so they also take advantage of that. They know that there are those that are in there that whether they pay them a little or a medium or whatever, they're going to stay in there. And so they
yeah.
take advantage of that with them because they know that they love what they do. But what I would suggest to all teachers is just to do just what you just said. Do all you do as though you're doing it unto God, which most of them do. They don't look at the fact that they're not paid, and they go ahead and they just give and give. And my prayer is that we, as those who are receiving, not just the children, but the parents and the communities and those that are or our officials, can make that change if we wanted to. If we look at
Right.
it and really push the point about it, we could get that change done for the teachers. But we hear a lot of oh, they're so good, and they do such a great job, and we just love our teachers, and they'll make the contribution maybe when it's teacher time recognition, or being a appreciation day or appreciation week. But we need to think in terms of those are mothers, they are wives, they are teachers, and they got a lot of things that they have to deal with, and then go in with your child. And so the thing that you would want to do is make sure they are taken care of so that when they pour, they're not pouring out and being stressed at the same time, so that the patience is not there with the child like there should be some days and when they don't want to feel that way. But that's when we should start thinking, what can we do so that they can be as less stressed as possible when they are responsible for our children more hours than we are. So we need to
You
think
know,
in terms of that. How can I make it easy or better for them? One thing is make their livelihoods where they won't have to struggle. Don't do
yeah.
that. Don't make it where they have to worry where they're going to stay, or what they're going to, how they're going to make it, or how their family's going to make it. We want to make it so that they can be at ease, so that when they go in, they can give their best and make it so that that child can receive everything that they're ready to pour into them.
Yeah, we talking about filling the gap.
Hmm.
And a teacher's job fills in the gap, parents, that I don't even think we really recognize or understand. They
Yes.
gotta babysit your child for 8-9 hours a day. They gotta teach your child. They gotta be a counselor. They gotta be a referee. They got a lot to do with our children every day, 5 days a week. Now I get it, parents. We got them 7 days a week all the time, and during the summer. But you can't really put a price on what teachers encounter, because you got to understand something. When you have your own kids, you know what their attitudes are like. You know when something is wrong with them. You know if they not really getting something. But can you imagine a class of 18, 20 children?
There you go.
18, 20 different households.
Yes.
That are all coming together up under one roof. And now you are trying to educate them. And we just talked about how these children got a lot, some of them got stuff going on. So, you might have one over here who parents going through a divorce. You might have one over here who parents are never at home because they out seeing the world, and they left home with they nanny.
Yeah.
You got, children that are in foster homes. You got children, some children are even homeless and they still coming to school.
That's right. That's right. You're
you
right.
Got all of that coming together. And now this teacher has to try to, devise a lesson plan and try to teach what they have in front of them. And they got all this chaos, attitudes, children upset, mad, hurt, discouraged. And they got to deal with all of that. And then on top of all that, then they gotta get their check on the 15th or the 1st or whenever it comes, and they just like weight tip, that feel good moment. You know how when you in your bag and you just handling your business and everything is working out, you know what I'm saying? Like you elevating in your job, you getting promotions and everything going on good at the house with your spouse, and y'all kicking it, y'all loving each other. The kids are acting good in school, and man, I mean, just people see you and wave, hey, how you doing? Everything is just looking lovely, and the birds are chirping, and the sun is shining, and there's no rainy days in your life. It's a feel-good moment. Yeah, that it feels real good. You want to know why you got that feel-good moment? Because you surrendered. You surrendered to God. You finally have raised your hands and say, God, I surrender all to you. I surrender all. I surrender all. So that's a feel-good moment when you finally surrender to God and allow him to protect you and guide you every step of the way. This is Weight Tip. Let's get it. This was y'all. Okay. And yeah, you're right. They do it for the love because they understand it. One thing about this platform that I had no idea that I was going to enjoy it like I am. Like I love getting before and just being able to talk, and that's why his name Can't Wait to Talk. I love being able to share. I just, I even watch when my episodes premiere as if I'm not in the episode. It wasn't me talking. But it's just a joy to know that, man, what I have to say is going out to the masses, is going out to the world, and someone will be encouraged. Someone will be like, man, I never thought of it like that. I never looked at it like that. And all it takes is one person. All it takes is one person to be like, man, I really enjoyed that. A man or hit the like button, or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
So there's this joy in it. So I don't get caught up in, oh man, I'm not getting the numbers, or I'm not getting this, because I know that in due time, whatever God has for me will come my way.
There it is.
Understand on that level of doing something that you enjoy, that you love. It's like, it don't matter. The man set me up, I'm ready to go. So the sad part about it is when teachers are doing something that they love because they understand, man, the impact that I'm going to have on this young person's life or this person's life can be, they can change the world just off of something that you're taught, that you teach them, that, So it's like, man, and then the fact that we as a society or government aren't treating the teachers with the respect, because I don't care what nobody say. At the end of the day, I would always say about my job, you can say what you want to say to me. You can make me go over here, do that. Just don't mess with my money. Because you mess with my money, you got a problem. And the fact that teachers don't, it's like we messing with their money. It's like, yeah, they getting paid, but and maybe, and that's the thing. It's so many levels to it, and we can't get into all of it here. But I just, I'm just grateful that we have the opportunity to talk about this and let it get over, because I know that there are teachers out here really struggling, and that's the thing.
Right.
We are all human. So the teacher got to go home with all of that.
Yes.
Go home with, man, I got this child that they're just not getting it, and I'm trying to get, when a teacher pours out,
yep,
like that on a daily,
right,
they take that stuff home with them, and like you said, they got to go home, they got to take care of their own children, they got to take care of,
right.
they and what if they a single parent? So now they got to go home. They got to make sure they got a roof over their head,
exactly,
over their children's head. They got to make sure that their children is doing what they need to do in school, and on top of
there it is.
So it's a lot of different dynamics that come into play. Man, you got to think of that. Yeah, I'm just.
It is. You're right. It is a lot, a lot more than just she's going in a classroom with the teachers. I'm thinking about what they're getting ready to do with the HISD teachers. Some of them have been teaching for years, and now that the state is stepping in, they're going to have them reapply for their jobs. And I'm going like, how do you do that? It's not just the teacher. You got to think in terms of there's a connection that most of those teachers have with those children. And so when you disrupt that child, what they don't really see is when you put something in there, you cause them to have that disconnection. And they don't just do it towards what's happening in their classroom. They begin to disconnect because they're unsure. They're thinking like, well, what's stable? What's consistent? If I can't have my teacher and I can't count on that, what else can I not count on? So we want to make it so that there's that consistency, and with them having them reapply and all the other channels that they're taking them through, those changes, of course, they're going to that impacts that teacher, and it's going to impact those students. So when we start thinking about those things that we're just going to come in, we're going to just make it right. We need to start thinking in terms of, you're talking about human beings. So when you start thinking about making a system right, you need to think about what are you doing with the emotions and those things that happen to them as individual human beings. So I think that we don't think it through. We think things looking at what needs to be changed, and that's all we go after. But there's all those things that are behind what's connected to the change that we don't think about. So I'm praying for those.
I was just gonna say, I've never been a teacher, but I have worked in a school district because I used to drive the school bus, and school bus drivers, they get the first line of defense when it comes to the children. They get the children before the children even get to school, and it ain't just 18 or 20 kids. You talking about a bus load, 40, 50, 60 children all together on this bus. And some of them can be rowdy because, one thing I've learned, because I did elementary, I did middle school, I did high school. Middle school is probably I don't know, middle school, elementary, because, the little kids, they just jittery. They just, they so happy to be away from home. They don't know what to do. So they all over the place. They want to play. They want to. Middle school kids, you got adolescents coming in, and they start liking each other. So you got to make sure they we ain't doing none of that. And the high schoolers, they kind of just too cool. They just like laid back. You got a couple of them that's like that you want to be the class clown, but I learned just in the few years that I drove, I'm like, yo, this is a lot. And but a lot of times like, oh, you don't want that route. Them kids bad. And the kids will be rowdy. But what I found out is that when you're stern with them, and when you don't, when you are who you are, and you stern with them, you this and that, they might bump against you. They might not like you. But every time at the end of the year, hey, Mr. Bush, are you gonna be our bus driver next year?
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
goes into what you was talking
That's
about,
what they
how
look for.
they
Yeah.
look for that stability.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless if they like you or not, they
Yep.
understand, like, yo, I might not like how he do or she do certain things, but they
Mm-hmm.
consistent. And
Yep.
as long, I would rather be with somebody that's consistent versus, oh, we got somebody today, oh, we got somebody
Yep.
tomorrow. Because now
Exactly.
it's just like, I remember being in school and how when a substitute
Mm-hmm.
teacher would come, man, that was free
Mm-hmm.
day. We ain't listening, we ain't paying attention. Oh, the
Right.
teacher here, woo, buddy, yeah. Because, it wasn't no respect for the sub.
Yes.
Because the sub,
Mm-hmm.
you the sub.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even
Yep.
pretend like you finna teach us nothing because we ain't listening.
Yes.
So,
That's it.
so it's
That
like,
was
so
it.
kids need that. They
Mm-hmm.
need that stability. They need,
Yeah, they
and
do.
even going to your point of talking about the system.
Mm-hmm.
I drive, I've been driving for a living,
Mm-hmm.
and I see people on the road every day.
Right.
And one thing about this world is the world never go after the root of whatever system
Right.
it is.
Yes.
People that learn how to drive cars,
Mm-hmm.
they're not taught how to drive. They're not taught. There's not an education when it comes to, we talk about education. There's not an education
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to people learning how to drive, because if there
Yeah.
was, not only would they learn how to drive a car, but they would learn how to be around 18-wheelers. They would
Mm-hmm.
learn how to be around motorcycles.
Right.
But because there's no legislation behind it, no law behind it, it's
Mm-hmm.
just like, hey, here's this book, learn these little laws or these little whatevers,
Yeah.
and then go, take the test on the computer, pass that, and then we're going to take you out on the road, and
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to ride around for 30 minutes, and if you make this left turn right, you make that right turn right, and you parallel park, bang, you got your license.
Yep.
What? That ain't, no. But then, when they get out there and start driving, they get into accidents. It's the 18-wheeler fault. Oh, it's
Right.
this person's fault. They jumped out in front of me. No,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't know what you were doing, so
Yeah.
you went out there. You did. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
it's the same thing with in the schools, because they don't want to go to the root of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, they just, we just gonna teach them. Been teaching for 30 years. Oh, well, we
Yes.
gonna make them reapply. What
Mm-hmm.
do them
Mm-hmm.
reapplying have to do with anything? Deal with the
Right.
root of the issue. But they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to deal with the root, because they know if they uncover what's
Yeah.
really going on,
Yep.
they gonna have a problem on their hands. So
Yes.
to avoid them having a problem,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like when they fix roads in the cities.
Yeah.
Instead of them digging up that whole part of the road that's messed up, they go throw asphalt on it.
Put the patch on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So but the problem is that only lasts for so long.
Right.
And then it make the road even worse.
Yes. There it is.
Have you ever been down a road where you seen nothing but patches and patches and
There it
patches and patches?
is. There it
It's
is.
a mess.
Yes.
When you could have just went in, took
Mm-hmm.
that part of the road out. Is it gonna be an inconvenience? Yes, it will be.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have traffic backed up. You're gonna have people, man, what's going on with it?
That's right.
Because I drive, so I'll be like, man, what they doing now with all this construction? But the
Mm-hmm.
reality of it is, matter of fact, over here by my job,
Mm-hmm.
they a part of the road, was messed up.
Right.
It took them probably about a week. They tore the road up. I mean, they didn't just patch it. They didn't asphalt
Yes.
it. They tore
Right.
it up,
Mm-hmm.
and they went in there, paid. It was done in a week. I say, man, that was quite
That's
efficient.
them. Uh-huh.
Like, I had never seen that. I was like,
Yes.
man, okay. I say, so it is possible to
Yep.
go in and do it right the first time versus just
Yes.
patching and patching and patching.
That's right.
So that's where we are in society.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we are in this world.
Yes.
Nobody wants responsibility to deal with
Mm-hmm.
the root of the problem, because
Right.
they think it's going to be a bigger problem. No,
Mm-hmm.
if you deal with it at the root, if
Yes.
you cut it at the root, this is why my channel is weight. The reason why people are overweight and weighed down and heavy with stuff, because we're not dealing with the root of the issue.
Yes.
We just trying to go over and I'm trying to
Yes.
try to fix this, and I just need to
Mm-hmm.
tweak this.
Mm-hmm.
No, you
Yep.
got some stuff that's on the inside of you. Yeah, you need to
Yes.
eat healthy. Yeah, you need to work out.
There
But
it
there's some stuff
is.
that's on the inside of you that's buried
Mm-hmm.
down and so deep that Until
Yeah.
you deal with that, you'll never get to where you want to be. You'll never be able to
Exactly.
unload and feel free in your life. Why? Because you
That's
never
right.
dealt with the
That
root.
is so true. That is so true.
So
You got to start with the inside.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So it's like we are failing our children.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I wanted to call it protect your children, because the best way to protect your children
Mm-hmm.
is to understand that you are the protector
Yes.
as the parent, as the adults. Our children
That's
do
right.
not know how to operate in this earth. And
That's right.
it's sad to see parents, especially in today's society, where parents are giving giving our children, the iPads and the phones and
Yes.
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes. I
you know, and
know.
and and, and
Mm-hmm.
now that's raising them.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, because I gave man the phone, but I had a purpose behind it. But my
Mm-hmm.
point is, it's like, if you do it, it has to be. You still gotta. It just going back to what you said,
Yeah.
how you know the parent that article. The
Mm-hmm.
parents stop paying attention to. They
Yeah.
stop being involved and engaged. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I'm not saying that the iPads and the phones are bad, but you
Mm-hmm.
still got to be engaged. You got to know
Still
what
got
they're
to be
doing.
there. Yes.
You got to
That's so
know what
true.
they watching. You got to know what they pulling
Yes.
up. You got to have
Mm-hmm.
restrictions. You just can't say here and walk
Yeah.
off,
That's it. That's it. You can't
because
do
when
it.
you walk away
Mm-hmm.
from them, when you walk
Mm-hmm.
away and just allow them to explore, they
Mm-hmm.
gonna see it all.
There it is.
And because their minds aren't developed enough to
Mm-hmm.
understand what they're
That's
seeing
it. That's it.
and what they're and the information that's coming in, they're gonna be like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, that's weird, that's interesting, that's da da da.
Yes.
We as
Uh-huh.
adults
We were just
have
talking about that.
hard times.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
We
We were
we
just
we
talking
have
about
hard
that.
times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we have a
got to
hard time
stay
sometimes.
engaged. Stay engaged with them.
Yeah,
Even in the schools, parents need to check out those libraries. Don't assume that every book in there is a book that
exactly.
you would say okay to. Go and check and see what you can work out with the principal, and ask to be able to go in and view the library, or ask, can you get a list of what's there, because a lot of those, and some of those books that are there, they're discovering different things are in there that maybe you don't want your child to be where they are able to view it, because like you said, children's minds are not developed like adults. They still have to grow. They don't reason about things, and a lot of analysis is not there, that ability to do it to a certain point. Sometimes what they see is what they try.
Yeah,
They don't know something dangerous. They don't know. They see it, it's something they haven't saw before, so they're going to go try it. And so it's a book that's displaying something that that's not something that they should be seeing in the first place. And then you find them trying those things, and you're going to say, oh, where did you get that from? Or why are you doing that? Sometimes it's in their library. So you might want to make sure that what you don't stop getting involved is what I'm saying. Find out what's there, find out what they're reading, just like you said, Danny, find out what they're listening to, the TikTok. Find out what it is. I'm not saying just make it so that they can't do things. You can still let them do it, but still monitor them. Don't think that because they're a certain age, you let go. Don't let go.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
yeah,
Don't let
yeah,
go. And that's
yeah,
where we come in. That's why that we say, I said, we're filling the gap. Our
yeah,
organization does. We do. We're there, and what we try to do is we try to find out if that child is in a family where there's food needed. We've had times where we've connected the food bank with the family. So it's things that, where that is, whatever is keeping that child from learning, we try to find out what we can do. Is it a job needed in the household? Well, we have a connection with Texas Workforce Commission, where we can try and help that parent. Is it that the parent needs additional information, GED? We also do GED preparation, and then we have Harris County that does it for, we're starting to connect them with the free classes. So there's a lot of things that we're regardless of what's missing, if God gives us an understanding that we can fill in that gap, we go to the extent of filling that gap.
Hey, you talking about your foundation, rah rah?
Hmm. Yes, Rara was Rick Anderson, Rand Anderson. My brother is the was the my brother just recently passed. He passed right before COVID set in. It was him and his son, and it started out as a mentorship
Okay.
where men of different professions would record themselves talking about their journey that they had getting to the profession that they were in. And as they recorded, those recordings went to like the YMCA and different organizations for young boys to
Okay.
know that even though it may be challenging, they can do it because others were of color were showing that they had done it. So that's how it started out in that way. But we've since added the early learners program, the after school program. We have the GED preparation program. We have the tutoring. So all of those things have since been added, and we try and make it so that summer camp is about to come up, and that's our next thing that we're working on is the summer camp, which we love because we get to work with children from all over. You know, it doesn't matter what district. That's the good thing about being a part of the organization. It doesn't matter. District doesn't matter. So whatever district they may be in, that child can join us.
Okay. Okay. That's great. I want to get you hot, get you get you out of here on this. No child left behind.
Yeah,
Why is that important? Why is that important for no child to be left behind?
because every child has a gift. Every child has an ability. Every child is meant to do something. Every one of them is. It doesn't matter what they're missing. If God gives us the understanding of what to do, we're going to do it. I don't care if it's reading, I don't care if it's math, they're not going to be left behind. They're going to be able to operate at whatever level God has given them to operate in. We meet them where they are, and then we give them whatever it is that is needed to get them where it is there to go. So we try to find out what is their interest because sometimes children learn based on their interests. It may be they have a lack of reading, but they maybe want to be one day they might want to be a scientist, but they can't read well right now. But they know they like science, they like things. So we try to pull the material and get the things that will apply to what their interest is and work it in with the reading. And believe me, it brings them to a different level. You know, they're ready to read because it has something of interest to them. So we try to make it so that there's not one. We have IEP students. We have students that with dyslexia. We have students that that are special education. It doesn't matter, whatever it may be, and whatever it is that we find that we have the ability or someone in our organization is able to work with that student, then we'll bring them right on in and work at that level to bring them up to wherever they need to be. We don't like any of them. We're like the Lord saying he left the 99 to go after the one. That's our idea. It's like, I know the others got it, but this one didn't get it. We need to find out why that one did not get it. And then we're going to get what it takes so that they can get it. So we like to take our time with them. We like to find out if there's something, maybe, like I said, maybe it's something at home. Maybe it's something that it could be a mental issue. So we have our partners that are Christian counselors. We have partners that are, just licensed counselors. Some of our partners are mental, they work in the mental health field. So we just make it so that whatever it is, I don't care what it is, we want to make sure that we can do kind of like a wraparound service for them so that we can meet that need and then bring that child up to where that child needs to be. Nobody. We really serious about that, not leaving not one child behind.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow, that is truly, truly amazing. You know, I thank you so much for
Thank you for having
blessing me
me.
with your presence, I think the greatest thing that I received out of all of this is that as a parent, it's important to be involved in my child's life, and as parents, it's important for us to be involved in our children's lives, not
Yes.
just when they're little kids and when they're so cute. Because I know when they get older, they don't look as cute as they were when they were little
Right.
bitty. But they get attitudes, they
Mm-hmm.
all of that. But it's important for us, because we fill in the gap.
Yes.
We are the ones that's going to be that buffer between them being a child and growing into that adult. So
Yes.
it's going to take
Yes.
us as the parents to show them the way and to help them and say, hey, this is how you need to do. This is how you need to move. This is how,
Yes.
because if you allow a child to raise themselves,
Mm-hmm.
we'll find ourselves in a world with adults that are doing that. They all over the place, just
Yes.
confused and don't have no direction, no type of substance, no type of
Right.
foundation. So as the
Yes.
parent, we have to be involved. We have to protect our children from
Mm-hmm.
themselves as
Yes.
well as protecting them from the world. So we have to fill in the gap,
Yes.
because if we allow the world to raise our children,
Mm-hmm.
then they won't listen to us at all. we
Yes.
won't have, we won't be able to have a say so in their life, because
Exactly.
the world is teaching them. The world is telling them how to
Exactly.
go and how to be and how to And then
Yeah.
it's like when then see and well, I'm gonna go there. The reason why you are seeing the news with children killing their parents or parents killing their children is because there was a disconnect somewhere along the way.
Mm-hmm.
And either that child or that parent got frustrated, got mad, got upset, and they feel like, well, I don't have no other choice. Back in the day, our parents used to threaten us with, I'll take you out of this world. I brought you in this world, I'll take you out.
Yeah.
But it was just a threat. They wasn't really gonna take us out.
Uh-uh.
But the world that we living in now, parents, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see. It's sad,
Mm-hmm.
that you gotta see on the news. I saw a news
Right.
clip the other day. I think a mother and a daughter burnt their grandmother. It was something crazy. I was just like, what?
Wow.
So we gotta understand how important it is to
Mm-hmm.
be, to appreciate our educators and to really understand that our children are precious and they need us
Yes.
throughout their lifetime. I
Yes.
don't care how many
Throughout the
child
life.
say I don't need you, or yeah, I don't care how much they get mad at you or whatever. They
Yeah.
need you.
Yes.
My grandfather taught me a long time ago. He said, "Don't burn no bridges." He said, "Because you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna need me before I
Yeah.
need you."
Yeah.
And he wasn't lying, because I sure
Mm-hmm.
needed him after
Yeah.
I went out there in the world and thought I
Yes.
was wrong and thought I knew
Yeah.
what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Then when I wasn't working and I was getting kicked out of my apartment, I
Mm-hmm.
came Papa, I went knocking on the door, because
Yeah.
because I couldn't afford a cell phone, so I had to knock on the door. I
Yeah.
had to show up, man. I gotta come. Can I come back?
Yeah.
So um,
Yes.
again,
Yes.
I thank Miss Irma for I thank you for just coming in. Uh,
Thank you
I'm
for having
definitely
me.
I'm definitely going to have all your information for those who want to reach out, um, and find out more information about Rara. I'm going to have all that information in the description, as well as Facebook information,
Okay.
um, emails, phone numbers. All that's going to be in the description of the video. So y'all can reach out. They got a summer camp. When does the summer camp start? Is it
The
going on
summer
now?
camp is going to start on July the 5th and it's going
Okay.
to end on August the 4th. It will be hybrid, meaning that we will have it virtual. So
Okay.
they'll get a link, and it will also be on-site field trips. So they will also come in, board a bus, and we'll take them to different field trips each Friday. So it's for 5 weeks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the cutoff time? I see the registration is $25
Mm-hmm.
plus $30 weekly for on site and 25 weekly for those who join virtually.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a cutoff time? Because you said it started. You
We're
said
gonna we're gonna enroll up until it'll be about the last Friday in June. We're gonna let it roll until that time. We were gonna cut it off around the 22nd, 23rd, but we're gonna let it keep rolling until that last Friday in June. You can enroll, so they can go out on the website and go under the programs at the top where it has programs in the menu and select summer camp. And when they select summer camp, they'll have all of the information they need. And they can go ahead and click and start enrolling right there on the website.
Wow, that's excellent. So I'm glad you said virtual, because as y'all know, this is on YouTube. So everybody ain't local. Everybody ain't in the city. You know, she lives in Houston, Texas. So it don't matter if you in Dallas, if you in California, you over the pond in London somewhere. Hey, you can be a part. You can have your kids be a part of this summer camp, and they can experience everything and get the joys and the information that they'll be able to have for the summer, daily classes and information. You know, now of course they can't go on the field trip, but you know, hey, you know, I'm pretty sure they'll have something in store for them as well. So,
yes.
But like I said, all of that information will be down in the description of the video. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all again. I thank you, Ms. Irma. This has been another blessed episode, another blessed day. Any closing remarks do you have? Anything that you just want to say, you know, just to close us out?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me on. And I just want to ask those that are viewing just to stick with your child, no matter what age. Continue to walk with them until you know they got it, because you know when they've grasped things in life, and don't just hurry them along, but allow them to go at the rate that God is having them go. And know that every child has something special. It's something special inside that child. So you never know who you're raising. Could be the next President Barack Obama. You never know. But thank you again. Thank you so much, Danny.
All right, all right. Well, y'all know what time it is. It's your boy, Kizzie, in the building. Can't wait to talk. And guess what? We gonna talk about it. Tune in to the next episode. Let's get it. I am who I am. So, you know what I'm saying? I got to do what I do, man.
Do what you do.
But it's going down. Really.